for those at home or at work watching this when they should be working or mowing the lawn or whatever, we had a technical difficulty. The mics are on now, and we're going to try to catch up with Keegan Swenson. We had a bitchin' conversation that the world just missed. So we're going to try to recreate that conversation again. We're going to try to do it again. Anyways, thanks for joining us. Talk about this season.
Yeah, man, it's been an awesome season. The Grand Prix just kind of appeared last year, and I was like, oh, this looks like a really cool thing to do. You know, my focuses were Unbound and Leadville, and it like tied those in together with a bunch of other cool events. So I was like, yeah, we'll give it a go and see if we can't try and win as many races as possible and try and win the overall in the process.
How many double negatives was that? See if we can't win.
See if we can't win them all. Yeah.
See if we can't win them all.
Yeah.
So let's give it a go. And you so far have won them all, right?
No.
No?
No, I was second at Unbound.
Okay.
And won the Grand Prix, but in my mind, still lost the race.
Got it.
And then was fourth at Schwalm.
Got it. Okay. So
but
heading into this race, there's not as much pressure for the overall this, that, and the other. I would imagine you still want to do well. You mentioned earlier about taking chances, and we were talking about strategy. So what does that look like?
Yeah, I mean, I'm still here I've won the overall, but I'm still here to win the race. That's like, otherwise, why bother? But yeah, still playing it relatively safe on the equipment side because flats suck. I think here it's so prevalent, like you could ride 5 miles into the race and then flat. So I'm still running the toughest tire I know, which is the Maxxis Refuse. It's a slick, but it's got the best protection. So yeah, still doing that, but then I can race. It's more like strategy. I can just race more aggressively and just do whatever I want and not worry about like, maybe this is dumb because I have to focus on the overall. Like now I can just do as I see fit. So,
right.
Yeah.
So give me an example of aggression out there. Because you're going to be out there for what? 4-ish hours?
Probably 4:40-ish, I'd say.
So just shy of 5 hours. So what does aggressive look like for you?
I mean, I think, this course, like it's fairly technical. You know, there's nothing that's super technical, but there's a lot of like loose rocks and the descents are kind of steep and some off camber and there's a lot of leaves on the ground. Sometimes you can't tell if it's leaves or rocks.
You don't know what's underneath them,
you
right?
know what's underneath them, and the shadows are kind of weird too. So I think, I plan to push it hard on the descents and also like push the climbs quite hard and try and split the bunch pretty early on. I mean, for me, that's the best tactic. And there's drafting, but it's not nearly as prevalent as some of the other races. So
Right. So we also talked about, heading into this season, you still want to defend your mountain bike title. You've been having fun doing the gravel and the mountain stuff. So there's been some squawk and some chatter, and that's saying a lot because I'm not coming from gravel natively, about possible road stuff. Can you talk about that? If you can't, I don't know, but
we're still.
I'm just saying what I heard.
Went to Road Worlds this year and had a good time there. And, we're still trying to figure it all out. So hopefully, be able to fill you guys in relatively soon.
Okay,
as to what
cool.
The plans are.
I'm willing to stay tuned. Having all three, I'm not going to say at your disposal, but having all three is real options as a career, but also just hopefully for some enjoyment. What's been your preference?
Man, I really love gravel racing right now.
Okay.
Like, it's been really fun to change it up. Man, I race mountain bikes pretty much exclusively for like 8-10 years. Race cross country, a little bit of mountain bike marathon and so on. So it's been really fun to jump into some gravel and do some new racing. We get some fresh courses and it seems like everyone's super stoked on it right now. So it's a good time. Get to race at new venues, new places, and I just love like the length of the races too. Like Unbound's one of my favorite races of the year. Like just long and hard, and there's like so much that can happen. Like I love the variables. There's tire choice, equipment choice, bike setup. There's like, I love all that side of the sport too. So it's cool.
So how tech are you? Or are you more like, because you said you like all the variables. Seems like there's a lot that goes into a race and the planning and the bike and all that stuff. So how deep do you go? Yeah,
I mean, for me, I find the best setup that works for me. You know, like I'm happy on the slicks, like even though they're tough and they're a little bit dicey in some turns, but I think like I have the skills to manage that tire. So then it makes up for it everywhere else. It gets faster on the pavement, it's faster on the smooth gravel and so on. And then with the gearing selection as well, like I found the 1x just works best for me. It's simple, it works. I think it's safe. You're less likely to throw a chain.
So it sounds like you keep things pretty consistent.
I like to keep it pretty consistent, keep it basic. Like I'll change out tires here and there. Like I ran different tires at Crusher and the Tusher. I'll change from road pedals to mountain bike pedals depending on the race and the situation. See, other than that though, like the bike setup stays the same, stem length, bars. Like, I'll change out wheels. I'll go run a deeper wheel if it's flat and fast. I'll run a shallower wheel if I want a little more compliance. But in general, I stick to my
the bike's
core.
going to feel the same.
Relatively. Yeah, like I'll keep the same gearing and same one-by system, all that.
Okay. So what about the mental side of this? I mean, so to be that consistent, that on top, not only for a series, but just, you know, you said marathon races? Is that what I heard? Mountain bike marathons?
Yeah. Race Cape Epic this year.
Yeah. So wrapping my head around all that. So is there any specific mental, like what's your deal? What's your kind of pre-race week, pre-race race routine, mental prep, or are you just kind of like, it's another race, we'll see what happens? Yeah,
a little bit of both. You know, I like to be prepared, but I also I didn't know what time the race started until this morning. I haven't looked at the start list really. So
you don't overcook it. You don't overcook the turkey.
I keep it pretty loose, but I also like to get in early, pre-ride the course.
Got it.
For me, it's more about the terrain and figuring out the race for myself, and I don't really care who's racing or what's going on. I'll figure that out later. It's more just nailing down my tactics as far as nutrition and so on. But I try not to look into it too much.
Right.
You know,
so I also notice, we're kind of out here. So is that a deliberate choice too? Is that kind of a thing you do when you go to a race? You're within a stone's throw, but not in the mix.
Yeah, I just kind of like to do my own thing. We've got an awesome team here, the Santa Cruz Hit Squad. We have a lot of fun. We have Tobin, Alexis, and here we've got
That was
Sam
the vibe when we pulled up in the driveway. I could tell.
Yeah, we just hang out and have a good time and kind of do our own thing. I'll hang out in the venue here and there, swing through at the end of a ride or whatever and say hey and kind of chill out. But normally, just like to hang out at the house and do our own thing. That's just what we do and it works best for me.
Nice. All right, so selfish question, new to gravel. What's one thing I absolutely have to know as a complete kook new person? I'm asking selfishly for me. I just got a gravel bike 2 weeks ago. Yeah.
Man, I think the biggest thing is probably nailing down tire choice, what's most comfortable for you. It's tire choice and nutrition, I think, are kind of big things for gravel, making sure you're prepared and knowing what you're going to eat and make sure you have enough on board to fuel. And then making sure you have tires that you're comfortable with and that are durable enough. You don't want to show up to this race on a super thin, lightweight tire and then flat in the middle of the race and then maybe not be prepared enough to change it. I think it's good to practice changing flats and practice plugging tires and whatever else so you can get back rolling. Otherwise your race is finished.
Got it. So it's beyond, a little bit beyond riding, right? Make sure you're not hungry. Yeah. Make sure you can get through the race.
Exactly.
Make sure you have the skills to fix your bike.
Basically just be self-sufficient.
There we go. There we go.
Yeah.
All right. Well, cool. Thank you. Learning from the best over here.
Simple tricks.
All right, man. Well, good luck.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.